coming off a recent win, there's a lot of excitement to see you at Silverstone again, and we hope you can challenge. Is it just that power that's still the concern? The team has highlighted the deficit you maybe have to Red Bull and Mercedes, that maybe you need another upgrade at some point in the year if you're to really challenge.
Yeah, we're going to have to push really, really hard to see when we can get the next power upgrade. But yeah, when you're around these guys, when it's just it's deployment, it doesn't necessarily feel so much as power, because when you start come out of the corner, it feels like you've got the grunt. It's just deployment at the end. Our tails off, and particularly Mercedes, they just keep going. So we've got to look at why and how we can improve that, but that's not going to come for a while.
Lewis Hamilton did not sound angry in Austria because Ferrari had a bad race. He sounded angry because he felt the problem before the world understood it. The tires were disappearing. The pace was slipping away. And every lap made the same terrifying message louder. Ferrari had not just lost speed. Ferrari had lost control. Only one race earlier, Hamilton looked reborn in red after winning in Spain. Austria was supposed to prove that Ferrari's comeback was real. Instead, it exposed the weakness that could destroy their entire season. Because this was not about one pit stop. It was not about one setup mistake. It was not even just about tire wear. It was about a car that looked fast for one lap, but started falling apart when the race demanded survival. And when Hamilton's radio message came through, it revealed something Ferrari would rather keep hidden. Austria may have shown the exact reason why Hamilton's dream with Ferrari could still collapse. Subscribe to the channel. Austria was supposed to be the confirmation. That was the dangerous part. Because after Spain, the story around Lewis Hamilton had changed completely. For weeks, every question around his Ferrari move had carried pressure. Could he really adapt? Could Ferrari really give him a car worthy of the fight? Was the dream still alive, or was it just another beautiful idea crushed by Formula One reality? Then Spain happened. Hamilton won. And for one brief moment, everything felt different. The red car did not look like a gamble anymore. It looked like a weapon. The garage looked alive. The headlines changed. The doubt got quieter. And the idea of Hamilton turning Ferrari into a title threat did not sound emotional anymore. It sounded possible. But that is exactly why Austria was so brutal. Because the Red Bull Ring did not care about the story. It did not care about the victory in Spain, the momentum, the belief, or the emotion of seeing Hamilton finally win in red. Austria asked Ferrari a colder question. Can your car survive when the circuit stops helping you? And almost immediately, the answer began to look uncomfortable. On Friday, Ferrari already knew something was wrong. This was not a sudden Sunday disaster. This was not a shock that appeared out of nowhere after the lights went out. The warning signs were there from practice, hidden in the lap times, in the balance of the car, and in the way the tires were reacting. Hamilton was stronger than Leclerc in practice, but even that did not feel like a real victory. He was fifth in both Friday sessions while Leclerc was further back, and for Ferrari that gap created a different kind of problem. Because when one driver struggles, you can sometimes call it setup. When both drivers struggle in different ways, it becomes more dangerous. It means the team is not just chasing speed. It is chasing understanding. And that is where Austria started to become a trap. The Red Bull Ring looks simple. It has long straights, heavy braking, and short bursts of acceleration. From the outside, it seems like one of the least complicated circuits on the calendar. But for a car with tire wear problems, that simplicity is cruel. Every time the driver brakes hard, the tires take stress. Every time the driver accelerates out of a slow corner, the rear tires take even more. Every time the car slides slightly, heat builds. And once that heat builds, the tire does not recover easily. It is like trying to run faster on shoes that are slowly melting under your feet. At first, you can ignore it. Then you adjust your steps. Then you stop attacking. And finally, you are no longer racing the people around you. You are racing the damage. That was the problem waiting for Hamilton. And Ferrari could see it coming. Charles Leclerc had already admitted that the team did not look very competitive at that stage. Even more worrying, he pointed to two areas that should never appear together in the same sentence for a team fighting at the front. Ferrari was losing too much time on the straights. And Ferrari was negatively surprised by its performance in the corners. That combination is what made the weekend feel so serious. Because if a car is slow on the straights, maybe it can recover in the corners. If a car struggles in the corners, maybe it can defend with straight line speed. But if the car loses on the straights and hurts its tires trying to survive the corners, then the race becomes a countdown. Not to victory, to collapse. And this is what made Hamilton's later radio frustration so powerful. It was not just a driver reacting to a bad stint. It was the human sound of a problem that had been building for days. The team had brought an update to Austria, but even that came with caution. It was described as a step, not a revolution. And that phrase matters because it tells you Ferrari did not arrive expecting a miracle. They arrived hoping to improve. But Austria was asking for more than improvement. It was asking for proof. Proof that the SF26 could handle a power track. Proof that Spain was not just a perfect match between car and circuit. Proof that Hamilton's Ferrari breakthrough could travel from one type of weekend to another. And Ferrari could not give that proof. At least not yet. Then qualifying created the illusion of relief. Leclerc put the car second. Hamilton qualified third. Suddenly, Ferrari looked alive again. Suddenly, Friday's weakness seemed less frightening. Suddenly, it felt like the engineers had worked through the night and pulled the car back from the edge. But that was the trap. A single qualifying lap can hide a tire problem. A race exposes it. For one lap, the tires are fresh. The driver can lean on the car. The fuel is lighter. The grip is there. Everything is sharp, immediate, and temporary. But over a race distance, the car has to repeat that performance again and again. It has to protect the tires while staying fast. It has to keep balance as the fuel burns away. It has to let the driver attack without punishing him for every small slide. That is where Ferrari's Saturday promise began to look fragile. Because starting near the front only helps if you can stay there. And the real threat was never just Russell ahead. It was the tires underneath Hamilton. That is why Austria became more than a race result. It became a test of Ferrari's foundation. A test of whether the car was truly growing into a championship weapon, or whether it was still a machine with very specific conditions where it could shine. The qualifying result had made the situation look better than it really was. Leclerc second. Hamilton third. On the surface, that looked like Ferrari had recovered from Friday. It looked like the team had found the missing performance and put itself into the fight. But qualifying is a mask. One lap can hide a wounded race car. Fresh tires can make balance problems feel smaller. Low fuel can make a car feel sharper. The driver can force the lap together with bravery, precision, and risk. But a Grand Prix exposes everything the single lap hides. And Austria exposed Ferrari quickly. That is why this weekend cannot be judged only by the starting grid. The grid said Ferrari was close. The race said Ferrari was vulnerable. And vulnerability is the word rivals care about most. Because once Mercedes, Red Bull, and the rest of the field understand where Ferrari suffers, they do not need to beat Ferrari everywhere. They only need to push Ferrari into the situations it hates most. Make them use the rear tires. Make them follow in dirty air. Make them defend into traction zones. Make them stop earlier. Make them choose between pace now and survival later. Sounds small, but it changes everything. A car with high tire wear becomes predictable. And in Formula 1, predictable teams get trapped. Rivals can extend their stints. They can undercut or overcut with more confidence. They can pressure the pit wall. They can turn Ferrari's weakness into their own weapon. That is why Hamilton's frustration mattered beyond his own race. It gave the paddock a signal. Ferrari could be attacked. Not everywhere. Not in every condition. But on the right kind of circuit, with the right kind of tire demand, the SF26 could be forced into a corner. And Austria was that corner. The most alarming part is that this was not just about the rear tires. It connected to the other weakness Leclerc had already mentioned. Ferrari was losing too much time on the straights. At a circuit like the Red Bull Ring, that is brutal because the straights are not just places to gain speed. They are where pressure builds. If you are slow on the straight, you are vulnerable. If you are also hurting your tires out of the corners, you are trapped. Because to defend the straight, you need a strong exit. But to get a strong exit, you often need to lean on the rear tires. And if those rear tires are already overheating, defending becomes expensive. That is the cruel loop Ferrari faced. Push harder and the tires suffer. Protect the tires and the lap time suffers. Lose lap time and rivals attack. Defend from rivals and the tires suffer again. This is not just racing. This is a slow squeeze. And Hamilton was stuck inside it. For a team trying to fight for championships, that is terrifying. Not because one race went wrong, but because the problem has a shape. It appears on circuits where speed and efficiency matter. It shows up when the car has to manage heavy acceleration. It becomes worse when track position is under threat. That means Ferrari cannot simply dismiss Austria as a bad weekend. They have to treat it like a diagnosis. And diagnoses are uncomfortable because they remove excuses. The SF26 has shown it can be quick. Spain proved that. Hamilton's win proved that. But Austria asked a different question. Can it be quick while protecting its tires? Can it be efficient on the straights? Can it survive a race where the circuit does not naturally suit its strengths? That is the question Ferrari still had to answer. And the longer the race went on, the more Hamilton's frustration seemed to point toward the same conclusion. Ferrari had speed, but not enough control over how that speed was produced. That is a very different problem. Raw pace can win moments. Controlled pace wins seasons. A car that is fast for one lap can create headlines. A car that keeps its tires alive can create championships. And in Austria, Ferrari looked like a team caught between the two. The car could shine in qualifying, but the race asked for durability. It asked for patience. It asked for a machine that could keep giving the driver grip without taking too much from the tires. And when Ferrari could not fully provide that, Hamilton's afternoon changed. The dream of chasing forward became the reality of managing loss. The emotional high from Spain met the mechanical truth of Austria. That is why the radio moment felt so sharp. Because it was not only about a driver complaining. It was the sound of expectation hitting limitation. And once that sound appears, the whole season starts to feel different.